This is the beautiful highway that takes us through Uinta Canyon and will spin us out there in Gateway. We're going to make a few predictions along this drive. This canyon's incredibly unique and so special. We're going to learn more about that later, but first we're going to predict a little bit about the living organisms in Uinta. So prediction number one, what lives in Uinta Canyon? There are 4 options there: plant, animal, people, and other. Circle what you think lives in this canyon. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do this one. Make some observations. Look out the windows. Use those observations to make your prediction for question number 1. Yeah. The 9-mile section of the canyon. Guess how long it is? It's called 9 miles. How many miles do you think this is? Yeah, it's 9 miles. You guys are so smart. How do you do it? So prediction number 1. You may circle 1, 2, 3, or 4 options there. What do you think lives out here? Look out these windows. Do you think plants live out there? I think we can all agree that yeah, there's some plants out there. Prediction number 2. What does a living organism need in order to live in this place or in any place? This is another one. You can circle 1 answer, or you can circle 4 answers, or anywhere in between. Your options are food, water, shelter, and space. What do living organisms need?
This is really close to the window.
When you're done with predictions 1 and 2, give me a peace sign so I know you're done with both predictions. Oh, fabulous. Wonderful. Alright, prediction number 3 then. Is there enough food, water, shelter, and space to support an unlimited number of species? Think about that. Read that question again. Is there enough food, water, shelter, space to support an unlimited number of species? What do you think? Whichever one you circle, please also give me a quick explanation of why or why not.
Actually, bless you. Man, Alex yesterday, she was sneezing like crazy.
Yeah.
In the middle of the rain, sneezing.
Awesome. I see a lot of eyes. Question number 4, or prediction number 4. Which of these is hardest to find? Food, water, shelter, or space? For this one, you can only circle 1 option. Which of those do you think is hardest to find? Again, use your observations.
You know, animals need water.
When you've circled your answer, go ahead and give me a thumbs up.
Honestly, tomorrow maybe.
Awesome. A lot of people are almost done. Okay, prediction number 5. Which of these is shared among the living organisms of Uinta Canyon? Do you think the food is shared, the water, the shelter, or space? You can circle 1 option, or you can circle all 4 or anywhere in between. What is shared? Ready? Prediction number 6. The last prediction we'll do on this bus ride. Do you think you could live in Uinta? Look out these windows. We got some people living out of an RV right there. But do you think you could live out in that canyon? Look at those resources it has. Do you think you could survive? Circle yes or no and explain. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're done with your predictions. We're going to revisit those predictions on the bus ride back, so remember them. And when you're experiencing the hike and everything at Owl today, think about those predictions and see if you still think your prediction's correct. But we're going to move on to question number 7. Uinta is a super special place, like I said. It's the only canyon in the world that is like this. Uinta is a Ute word. The Ute Native Americans lived here before settlers did. And the Ute came up with the name Uinta. It means canyon with 2 mouths. 2 mouths. What that means is a typical canyon has a high point with a water source coming from the high point and it trickles down the canyon. But Uinta is super special. It has a high point in the middle, creating a divide. And the 2 mouths means there's water flowing down this way and down this way. So there's 2 water sources in this canyon. Like I said, it's the only canyon in the world like this. Geologists still cannot find any other canyon that has that divide. So it's super special. But when we have that high point, it changes some of the geography and the geology, of the area. So I wanted to ask you, which way do you feel the bus going right now, in general? Is it going uphill or downhill? Go ahead, circle it in your journal. Alright, who said it's going uphill? Whoa, lots of hands. Who said it's going downhill? Ooh, well you guys are right. The bus is going uphill in general because we are approaching that divide, that high point, right? That means that we have one water source over out to the right. We can't totally see it right now, but keep an eye out for it. Does water like to flow uphill or downhill? Downhill. So which way is the water flowing? This way or that way? Behind us. Does anyone know what direction that is? North? It's either east or west. It is east. This creek out here, you can see where it's carving out the rocks. It's flowing backwards behind us. That is east. Guess what that creek is called? East Creek. They make it easy for you. It's called East Creek. So everyone circle east for question number 8.
I would have guessed more. Guess more pretty south.
Alright, so we are heading up towards that divide, that high point in the canyon. Our water, oh there it is, everyone say hey to East Creek. Hello East Creek. It's down there winding through the canyon. It's heading that way back towards Grand Junction. It flows into the Gunnison River. Did anyone see the river when we crossed over the railroads? That's our Gunnison River, and East Creek flows into Gunnison. Okay? But we're going to take a break from talking about the water, and we're going to talk about the rocks. Look at all these beautiful rocks out here. Geologists cannot agree on something. How did this canyon get formed? There's 3 main theories, and that's what question number 9 is about. There's 3 theories as to how this canyon was formed. Chuck is going to be writing down these options as we go. So if you need any spelling help, take a look at the whiteboard as we go. So like I said, there's 3 theories as to how this was formed. And geologists can't quite agree. There's evidence that supports all 3. Theory number 1, weathering and erosion. Everyone write weathering and erosion. What they believe with the weathering and erosion is either the old Gunnison River or the old Colorado River. They had a little different path. And maybe that path included flowing through this canyon and carving out this canyon. So weathering and erosion is theory number 1. Theory number 2. It's another form of water. What are those huge chunks of frozen water called? Ice? Bigger. Did I hear glaciers out there? Glaciers. There's evidence that supports some glaciers in this area. And as the glaciers moved on through, it carved out Uinta Canyon. Take a look at the whiteboard for any spelling help from Seahorse Step Check. But both of those theories, there's some evidence that supports it, but they're still really confused about this divide. It kind of throws it all off. And so our third theory involves an uplift. An uplift involves the fault zone. So Colorado has 3 major fault zones. And you are lucky enough because you are in one of those fault zones right now. Look around you. See how the canyon's widening out a bit? This is a part of that fault zone. The fault zone here created our Colorado National Monument. Who's been to the National Monument? Nice. Who here, that's on this side of us to the north. To our south is our Uncompahgre Plateau. Who's been to the Uncompahgre? Nice, lots of hands. So this fault zone there was a huge uplift for both of those, and it created those two amazing places. In the process, some geologists think that Unilever Canyon kind of got left behind, right? And it created this beautiful canyon. So our third theory is uplift. Go ahead, write that down. We are in this amazing big fault zone of Colorado. Look out to your right. Do you see this beautiful rock? There's two different kinds of rock that we see in the fault zone. For question number 10, I want you to write the changes in rock. At the beginning of the canyon, what color was the rock? Red? Totally. What else? What color was the rock? Red and oranges and yellows, right? Look out to the windows, out your windows now. It's kind of close, but what color is this rock? It's kind of gray. It's a little different. It has different texture too. So for the next about 5 minutes, I want you to make notices and write down changes in color, texture, shape, and layering. So if we look out to your left and back, high up in that red area, that's our beautiful sandstone rock. Our sandstone rock is found at the beginning of the canyon, and we'll see more when we get closer to Gateway. And then there's another kind of rock, that gray rock that we can see. Right now it's kind of sandstone. See out to your right, see up and to the right. That's another kind of rock. It starts with a G. Does anyone know what kind of rock that is? Granite. Nice job. So we have our two main types of rocks, sandstone and granite. They're formed in very different ways, right? Our sandstone is our sedimentary rock, and our granite is our igneous rock. So, for the next few minutes, write down changes in those two types of rock, please. Sea Ranch.
So enjoyed that.
The Masseys are a family. We call them a centennial family. They came here after the Homestead Act in the early 1890s. The 1800s they got here. They moved here with the Homestead Act and have been ranching the land ever since. When they moved here, the homesteaders of this area made a deal with the Native Americans, and they displaced the Utes and came here and started ranching the land. And the Utes went further west and south. And when they did that, they started tending to this land and have been ranching it ever since. Can anyone raise their hand and tell me what the difference between ranching and farming is? Any ideas? Hey Omar, will you listen? We have a hand raised. Will you guys listen and relay? Do you want to? Will you tell Omar what you think the difference between ranching and farming is? Emo? You had your hand raised? No? Did you change your mind? Totally. Oh, I'll tell ya. Farming deals with crops. So that's when they plant and grow crops for us to consume. Whether that's eating them or using them for making other supplies, right? Ranching is about livestock. So it's about the cattle, the goats, the sheep, the pigs. They raise these animals. If they grow any plants on a ranch, it's usually to feed the livestock later. So in the summers, they'll grow different plants to feed the cow and the cattle in the winter months when they can't graze as easily, right? So we see a lot of ranchers with cattle in this canyon. Lots of cows. Ooh. With those cattle, or with that cattle, they have to compete for resources still, right? So there's a lot of elk in this canyon as well. The elk love being down in here during the colder months, and they love, their herds will go through the ranching areas and through this canyon. Do you think they have to share resources, that food, water, shelter, space? Nod your head yes if you think so, or shake your head no if you don't think so. Ooh, I see a lot of nodding heads. Yes, they have to share resources, right? Go ahead and for question number 11, circle what resources do you think they share? You can circle one or a couple or all four. What resources do you think elk and cows share? We've been talking a lot about those four things: food, water, shelter, space. Do you guys know what those four things make up? You can shout it out. I can't hear. Survival. Survival, yes. We need all four of those things to live. And we call that area where we live and where animals like to live, what do we call that? Their living space. Starts with an H. What think? Habitat. So our 4 components of habitat are food, water, shelter, and space. Remember that for later, alright? So we're gonna do a little competition. Elks versus cows. They have to share those 4 components of habitat, right? And we're gonna do a little competition where we're gonna see this year who's gonna survive, cows or elks. So with the person you're sitting next to, one of you decide you're gonna be the cow. The other person, you're the elk. Decide in 5 seconds. Really high. Let's see all you. Give me a nice moo. Moo. Oh yeah. And my elk, raise your hands and give me a beautiful bugling noise. It's really gorgeous.
Elk.
All right. It's perfect. All right. So we're gonna do a competition of rock, paper, scissors. Okay. The first person to 5 victories will win and get enough resources for that season. So, will the cows or the elk get enough resources? First to 5, ready, set. Who got enough resources? Cows, if you got 5 victories. Cows, if you got enough resources, raise your hands super high, super duper high, higher, higher. Beautiful. 5, 6. Everyone look out to the right. You're gonna see a sign. Where? Coming, it's coming, it's coming. Just keep swinging, just keep swinging. Here is our sign. It marks the Unuweap Divide at 7,048 feet. Remember that. All right. Elk, if you got enough resources, raise those hands super high. Elk, where you at? Oh, yeah. Higher, higher, higher. Ooh. All right. That was a pretty good round. For this season, our cows got 6 victories. Well done. And our elk got 7. So the elk are slightly ahead, but guess what? We're gonna do another round. This time, our elk have a bit of an advantage. For 1 year, the average elk needs about 18 acres to survive. 18. Guess how many acres a cow needs? 40. They need about 40 acres. Cows, they just keep grazing away. They've got those 3 stomachs. They're nice big animals. They need more resources. So for this round, my elk, you need less resources. So you only need to win 4 times. But my cows, you need more than double the resources. So cows, you have to win 8 times in order to get enough resources. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, my elk, you had a huge advantage. You only need to win 4 times. Elk, if you've got enough resources, raise those hands super high. Oh gosh, this is not good. Yes! Ooh, elk, you did pretty dang good. Hands down. Cows, if you manage to make an upset and you got enough resources, raise your hand nice and tall. Ooh, we got a couple. Not bad. Quite the upset. All right, well, guess what? There's one more round. Elk, you're wildlife, right? You don't have anyone helping you. Cows, who do you have helping you? Ranchers. So guess what? For this round, our cows, you have the ranchers making sure you have enough water, just like that watering hole, and then make sure you have enough to eat. So cows, you need to have 3 victories. Elk, you don't have the help of the ranchers, so guess how many victories you need? You need 6. 6 victories. Ready, set, go. 2, 1. All right, cows, you had the advantage this time. Raise your hand, cows, if you got enough resources to survive. Holy cow! Raise them up high, higher, higher, higher. Raise those hands, cows. Be nice and proud of that victory. Holy cow. Quite literally, holy cows. All right, elk, if you made an upset, raise that hand. Oh my gosh, Spider Sarah, what an upset. Who else got 2? Awesome job. All right, Miss Seahorse Stepcheck's gonna add up our total. Who do you think got enough to survive? Can I get an amazing drum roll for these results? Can I get a drum roll, please? Oh yeah, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Go! You squeaked out the victory. You need less compete, and this time the Elks won. In your journal, question number 12, write down these scores. Miss Seahorse Stepshop will hold that sign up. Then we crossed that divide sign, that Inuit divide a while back. Since crossing it, in general, which way is the best bus going now, up or down?
Down.
Down, circle it in your journal. So that means that kingdom with two mouths. If we look out to the left, we see that creek flowing. It's also headed downhill. What do you think that creek's direction is? West. And what do you think that, if the other one was called East Creek, what do you think this one's called? West Creek. They make it super simple for us so we can remember. That's West Creek winding through this rancher's property. Owl Campus, we are going to study West Creek. The West Creek flows right through the heart of Owl Campus, and we're going to look at it and see if there's anything living in there later. So the East Creek flew into the Gunnison River, meaning East Creek is a part of the Gunnison River watershed. West Creek is a part of a different watershed. The Dolores River is up ahead. That means that it's a part of, that West Creek flows and is a part of the Dolores watershed. So circle that in your journal. That was a mouthful. Alright. And now we are going to be heading down into Gateway. Alright, we are now entering the town of Gateway. Owl shares its campus with the Gateway School. The Gateway School is a K through 12 school, so they serve every student of all grade levels in this area. There it is off to your left. When we're in the Gateway School area and on Owl campus, because we are sharing the facilities in that area, let's just be respectful of those students and their learning environment, alright? So if you see them out at recess or doing their thing, we don't need to be hooting and hollering at them, okay? You're welcome to say hi, but we're just going to keep our campuses separate, alright? How many students do you think is at that K-12 school? So there's all grade levels are there. How many?
28.
What? How did you know?
Because I have good memory. Actually, I have bad memory.
Wowza. There are a grand total of 28 students this year. It usually ranges between 25 and 30 students at the K-12 school. That means, look at the person next to you. What if you two were the only 6th graders in the entire school?
That would be sick.
Crazy, right? When we get there, we're going to get off the bus one parliament at a time. So, right now, everyone, look under your seat. Please pick up all trash or belongings. Start putting your backpack together. When the bus comes to a complete stop, and I see your parliament is sitting ready to go, we'll dismiss one parliament at a time. We'll walk down under the owl sign and meet by our flag. Sound good? Thank you guys for being respectful.